Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig, it's 9 o'clock, it's time for another video, and today it's an interview, it's a review, it's a performance, it's all that fun stuff put together. Today I'm going to be doing a review and interview on Roddy McGhie's Flux 2.0, or Flux 2, which has been bought out by Trick Trick Boom. Now, I have told everybody that will listen, I'm a huge fan of Trick Trick Boom. I think as a production company, they are doing everything right. Every trick they bring out hits gold and then some. And I think they're doing great things for the Magic community. And this is no exception. Now, if you don't know what Flux 2 is, I'm going to start off by showing you the trailer. So let's have a look at a trailer for this. I love this trailer, especially the beginning bit where Roddy is in a kind of a laboratory and he's like cooking up special ink, mainly because I really do genuinely believe that's how he dresses when he's in his house, and that's what he gets up to when the cameras aren't rolling. So let's have a look at a trailer first of all and find out kind of what Flux 2 is all about.
I'm Roddy McGhie and this is Flux 2.0. There's a message. Looks a bit clearer. Have a look.
This is like potential witchcraft.
So here's what happens. Someone selects a card. You want this one here.
Yeah, just touch one card for anyone you want.
And then someone else tries to find that card. They're unsuccessful. What? This one here for sure. Shazam, was that it?
No.
That's not it. Was this the one? Shazam, that's your card? No?
What's in there?
So they make some random marks on the back of the card with a Sharpie. Here goes. Just give it, move it around, let the spirits guide you, right? Like, man, just let the spirits guide you. You then show those marks, and right before their eyes, the ink visually moves and morphs to spell out the name of the selected card. You can then immediately hand out that card. All else fails, sometimes if you move it a little bit, you move it, sometimes there's a message that... That's all. Yeah, right.
What? Really? You have to be kidding.
This is Flux 2.0. Just touch, point to one.
Whoa.
Was that it?
What the? Whoa. What the? Whoa. What are you doing? Oh my god, wait a minute. Okay. That is insane. Wow.
You can keep that.
Can I?
I'll have this though, I need it.
Yeah, of course. Very cool. If I shake it, will
You guys are not. That's no. Well, I don't know. Keep shaking it. You never know.
So Flux 2, that's the trailer. Now, you're going to see a performance a little bit later on. I'm going to talk you through exactly what I think. However, first of all, I had the opportunity to sit down with Roddy McGhie and Noel Qualter, the two co-founders of Trick Trick Boom, and talk to them about this trick, what Trick Trick Boom's been up to, how Roddy makes all of the gimmicks, what Noel does, and what's coming out between now and 2026. We chatted through a lot of stuff. So I want to say thank you to Roddy and Noel for finding the time to sit down and chat with me. Let's have a look at this interview, and then after the interview, we'll talk specifically about Flux 2. So I am here with the two founders, CEOs of Trick Trick Boom, the fastest growing production company in the world in the magic industry. One and only Noel Qualter and Roddy McGhie. How you doing, Roddy? How you doing?
Hello. Hello. Good, thanks.
Good to see you. We're filming this at the beginning of December, which I imagine means that, Noel, you're busy running around to gigs, and Roddy, you're busy making shit.
Yeah, a bit of both, yeah. Not enough of the gigs though, but you know, hey ho.
I like the idea that we're the founders, which suggests that we'll be taking on more people on the board, which I like. I mean, that might be a few years away, but the big board meeting with me and Roddy be great. Roddy obviously can't go; he'd be making gimmicks, but he'll have a little video avatar.
Yeah,
I mean,
his little penguin fella saying, "Sorry, I can't be there."
well, you know, last time I interviewed you guys, I couldn't see your back garden. Now I can. I can see there's a fairly sizable shed back there. I think you just set up a sweatshop in there, and you just have a little gimmick making sweatshop in the back garden.
I do. It's
well,
just that is what that is. I'm just the only employee. But, yeah, that used to be. I mean, I do make, like, when it comes to sort of spraying noxious fumes and stuff, then that happens out there. But that used to be my place. But the problem is, obviously, anyone that's done this, if you're out in a wooden shed, come the winter and the moisture, playing cards do not like being out there. I don't like being out there. I remember sitting out there making stuff for Penguin, and I had one of those sort of Russian hats on and fingerless gloves and like 2 jumpers and a scarf, and I'd be sitting making stuff. But now I've got a room, thankfully. Now I've got a room in the house with the laser cutter and all the stuff in it. You don't want to see that. That's utter chaos. But that's where the magic happens. But yeah, I use that as well.
Well, last time I spoke to you guys, Little Holes had just been announced. That's been a huge success. I've seen so many online content creators that have been doing Little Holes, like so many. I was at where was I? I can't remember. I was oh yeah, that's right. I was at a magic convention, and there was a magician that came up to me. I'd never seen them before, didn't know who they were, and they were like, "Hey, can I show you my set? I'd love you to tell me what you think." And I was like, "Yeah, show me your set." And he finished with Little Holes, and I was like, "Oh, it's so cool!" The fact that, like, he wanted to show me his set, and this is the set that he did, and Little Holes was in it to close the whole thing. It's
amazing.
You know, a lot of people have said that it's gone beyond Little Door. A lot of people have said they prefer it to Little Door. It's done well, right, guys? I mean, it's really
people have loved it. No, it's been no, it's amazing. Great online response. There was such an excitement in advance before the thing came out, and Roddy was killing himself making the little fellas and the gimmicks, and we were so excited to get the thing out. And it was such a build-up, so many questions every day of when's it coming out. And when it finally did launch, it was that great relief moment for me and Roddy to be able to say, "Here you go." And there was I think 2 hours after, there's a guy, Rick's his name, and Rick Edgell. Sorry, Rick, if I've got your name wrong. But 2 hours after getting the thing, he put the thing on social media. I was like, "Well done, you. That's going some." I suppose if you want to be if you're the social guy, first is the winner, isn't it? Second is nothing for these videos. But no, he did amazing, and people seem to love it and take it to heart, and we get lots of nice feedback.
Yeah, that's it. But then it was that whole thing of, like you said, that relief of getting over the finish line, and then going, right, cool, let's move on to the next thing, and then getting orders coming in, going, can we get another 100? Can we get another 400 of these? And I'm like, it's never going to end. It's never going to end.
Well, cut that bit out. It's fine. That's gone. That's fine.
And it's like you know, Little Holes was very different to like the Minibook Pro, because I imagine that didn't take too much effort to put together. You know, because obviously, well, maybe I'm wrong.
Yes and no. There's a bit that no one. Obviously, cards are printed. Roddy's not making those. Well, I like the idea that he's going to the forest to cutting the trees down and to make the decks. But the laptop, the big thing with the laptop is it needs to be at 90 degrees. And me and Roddy could still kill me, I think, for this. I was obsessed with the idea that if you buy those laptops from China, they are, which we do, they just lie flat because they're designed to be placed in a dollhouse at 90 degrees. And if you even think hard enough, they will fall flat. So you just have to walk past in slippers slowly and they'll fall flat. Mm. So we worked on, it must have been 10 different ways to make it stay at 90 degrees, but then also be able to close. You could super glue it to 90 degrees, but it needs to act like a laptop. We thought of lots of simple things, but I was obsessed with the idea that it didn't have an extra little thing on it to ruin the look of the laptop. And Roddy had a very smart solution that would have only 5%, maybe 10% affected how the laptop looked.
I would say 2%.
2%.
Okay, carry on.
And then I poo-pooed it, and then a mate gave me tipped me off to the glue that we used for it, and the glue works brilliantly, but it's fiddly as hell, and it's another job for Roddy, and it's, I reckon, his least favourite of all the misery jobs.
Yeah, because I have to do it out there. I have to do it in the garage because I'm using like glue and accelerant spray and stuff like that, and yeah, it's not my favourite job. But then, you know, that's the thing when you're in a manufacturing process, you get into a kind of flow of whatever the thing it is you're doing, and then, you know, the way my brain works, I get very easily sort of bored and distracted and want a sort of fresh thing. So the likes of like little holes, I can spend a day just laser cutting the holes into the boxes, and then the next day I'll make all the little plastic pieces, and then the next day I'll make all the little aperture pieces. And so it's good that there's a bit of sort of mix it up every now and again. And it's good that we've got a bunch of things like, you know, we discussed this before, things that we had at Magic Live, things that we had in Blackpool that we're rolling out over the course of the end of this year into next year. So every now and again, I'll jump onto something else and I'll say, right, I'll make some keypad for a while. So I'm not adverse to going out and doing some laptops now and again. Don't take that to heart, Noel.
I'm going to just clip that bit. When Craig, when I get the link to the video, I'm just going to clip that bit. And I'll press that button when you say I don't want to do any of that.
Yeah, just because I've had enough of laser cutting for a while, you know. But anyway, yeah. I can't even remember. Was that a question?
Yeah, no, it was a question. It was definitely a question. But like, obviously you bought some stuff out that you sell at conventions, and you're drip feeding that out, and generally slowly. Obviously, the first thing that came out, MiniBook Pro, that killed like everybody. It's still selling just as well today. Then the second, it was Little Holes after that one, but yeah, and that's gone just as well. And now you guys are bringing your third product officially out, which is Flux 2.0. Now, I want to talk a couple of things about this because this is very exciting. And obviously, this interview is forming a kind of review show I'm doing on this. But my first observation is, out of 3 tricks that you've brought out, 2 of them, this is now the second, is a sequel. Little Holes was kind of the unofficial sequel to Little Door.
Yes, kind of.
Is well, it is. It's a reimagining of Flux 1, right? Or Flux, as it was known.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
The question is, with all of the stuff that you've got that you've been working on, and I know there's tons of stuff because I see you'll line up at every convention, what made Flux the next one to bring, that tricky third album? What made Flux 2 the next one to bring out? And how come you went for another sequel?
Well, it just came down to logistics, basically. For me, like that's really, I know I keep harping on about the making things, but that's where it came down to logistics. We looked at what's the thing that's easiest for me to manufacture, and foolishly I thought it was this, but there was a lot more involved in it than we imagined. But there we are. Once we'd started down that path, and it was like, you know, and people. I get emails every now and again. I used to get quite a lot, but every now and again I get emails from people saying, "When's can I get Flux? Do you have any Flux? When can I get this? And is this ever coming out again?" And blah blah blah. So there were people asking for it, and
it was. I mean, it's 10 years ago the first one came out, which it like to the 3 of us as lifers, you go, 10 years. 10 years, I reckon, is 3 lifetimes in Magic. There's a lot of people, 3 years in Magic, they had a good run. And you see it all the time. I always think of it as, you know, people talk about broken wand ceremonies when magicians die. I always think of like broken mouses when they start selling their full collection. It always starts with the David Blaine book or something, or the David Blaine sort of DVD with the hands. And then there's a Mark Wilson book, and then it's the bat. And then suddenly it's Paul Harris, Art of Astonishment, and Steve Forte book. And then they quit. You can go, I know when you bought this, I can see the whole journey, and then you quit. It took 3 years. People burn out very quickly. So 10 years in Magic is 3 lifetimes. to a lot of
Actually,
magicians.
very true. The amount of people that come into magic find it, and I think one of the reasons for that is it's very I don't know, but the magic community encourages almost obsession. Like you become into the magic community and you get obsessed. You know, you get into arguments very quickly on the Magic Cafe and on Facebook groups, and you buy absolutely everything and you learn everything, and you very quickly think that you're an expert. You know, within 6 months, you're giving people advice on how to get gigs, even though 6 months ago you never knew what you were doing. So you're right, and then very quickly, because of that level of obsession, for want of a better word, a lot of people burn out. Not everyone, you know, some people here that have been in this industry forever, but it does happen. A lot of people,
because the obsession is so the obsession is what drives us. That's what makes magicians, and we're all on the spectrum to a certain degree, and that's that powerful desire. I must know, that thirst for knowledge, that thirst for sleight of hand expertise or gimmick making, or I must have the perfect history of magic, or whatever is your thing within magic. You absorb and you soak it in, and you run a million miles an hour. I must have all of this knowledge, and it happens so quickly. And then you see all these tricks going, oh, this is what you need, this is what you need. And eventually you can see, I had a mate of mine years ago, and never forgot it. He got really into magic, he loved it, and he was nuts about it. It's all he'd ever talk about. And then one day, it was the work Christmas do, and he did a trick for did some tricks that night, and he hadn't really done anything more than that. Just one night of doing magic, been practicing for ages. And he said, "Oh yeah, I think I'm knocking the magic thing on the head." The people kept saying that I wasn't really a magician and I was just bluffing. And I said, "Well, both things are true, but I mean, you're new to it. But those people are arseholes." And he never did another magic trick ever again because he had one knock, and that's sad. And that's
bad.
And you think of all these people, there'll be people that we know, like if we put our heads together, go, oh, whatever happened to him? Circumstance, life, tragedy, a million different things can happen. But people can just burn out. Could just be. Also, magic's not cheap. It takes up tons of time. It takes up tons of space. No magician is living the Zen lifestyle. There's shit everywhere. So,
oh, that's my dishwasher going, in case you're wondering what that noise is. So yeah, in relation to why Flux, I think that was the question. It was just let's say logistically, and also I've never stopped doing it. It's always been in my case of I've performed it. Since it came out, since we brought it out originally with Full 52, it was 10 years ago, and I've always wanted to bring it out again and sort of address some of the, not concerns, but people would say, it'd be better if there was more than one reveal, it'd be better if you could give the card away, all the different things that I thought we could improve this. Similarly, almost probably the same sort of thing that you did with Keymaster, you knew it was an absolute banger, it was a fantastic trick, it got great attention when it first came out. I bought it when it first came out, still use it. And you get to the point where you think, this is ready, I'm ready to bring this out again to improve it. I've had a lot of thoughts, a lot of work on it over the years, and it's time to bring it back. And like Noel says, there's every week there are new people coming to Magic. My concern, I was worried thinking, are people just going to go, oh, is that thing again? But I was surprised, when we showcased it at Magic Live and we had it at the London Magic Convention and stuff, a lot of people had never seen it before, which was great.
Well, that's the thing, like you say, 10 years ago, and not being available for a very, very, very long time. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people won't even know what the original Flux was.
Yeah,
yeah.
And also, there's a lot of great visuals in Magic. We've all seen crazy sleight of hands or color changes and little clever gimmicky things and all those bits and pieces. For me, I maintain that the Flux moment, that visual is probably the most startling one of the most startling visual moments in all of close-up Magic.
Yeah.
Because all of the other things most visual moments are a split second. It's this, and now it's this. In fact, often that's the method. But it is, you're looking at one thing, and a split second later, it is completely changed. That's the thing with Flux, is as crazy as it is, the magical moment takes 2 or 3 seconds. And I can't think of many tricks where you're seeing animation, fluidity, movement, because people can understand sleight of hand, if you've got a colour change, even the best colour change in the world, I've seen laymen watch great sleight of hand guys, and they will say, "You flicked it, mate." That's and you know what they did. I mean, it doesn't really explain it, but you flicked it is the right answer. You watch Flux and you see that moment, that animation, that ink coming to life, the fluid sort of movement that takes 2 or 3 seconds if it's done right, and you can do it certainly the change you can do pretty much out of the box. That moment is so pretty that people afterwards cannot conceive that sleight of hand could ever produce this. And if sleight of hand didn't produce it, they're left with one other thing. It was real magic.
Yeah, God, you make it sound really good. I'm going to get that. Sounds brilliant.
I might bite myself until I realise I've got 1,000 in the garage. But yes,
Well, here's a question. Very quickly, can you synopsisize what the effect is? I'm going to be showing it later on. We're going to be doing the trailer later on. So you don't have to spend too much time on what it is. But if you talk briefly about what it is, and then could you talk about what the difference is between Flux 1 and Flux 2?
Okay, shall I take that?
Yeah, you take that, yeah.
So what happens is you have someone select a card, or they remember it, and then I often do this with 2 people, although we have a presentation where you just do it with 1 as well, which I do quite a lot now. So you have someone select the card, someone else is going to try and find that card using their intuition, and they fail, it's the wrong card. You say, well, let's try something else, and you get your pen out, and I talk about automatic writing and stuff like that, and you have them, you sort of hold the deck like this, and you have them make marks with the Sharpie on the wrong card, effectively the back of the wrong card. And then when you look at it, it's just all like obviously a bunch of random marks, as you would expect from that sort of process. And then you say, well, let's try something else. It's like this. You say, let's try something else. You give it a little shake, and then the marks, I did it off camera, it become the chosen card, and then you give them that card to keep. So that's it effectively. See, I can move this down a bit. Can I move this down? There we go. I'll show you the little thing. So this is the thing. They make the marks here like this. You give it a little shake and
go slowly, because otherwise it'll lose it because of
Was that it? Did that look all right? You'll be seeing the trailer anyway, so
incredible.
You get it. Whoop. See, and then it says either
that looks so good.
Either says the 9 of hearts or the 2 of hearts.
So, question for you. First question. When you do that at home, you laugh. It's great. It's so visual, so commercial. So question. When we give something away, we've got one of 2 options. We either have to sit there and make it, or we have to buy refills. What are we doing with this? Is this
so the thing with Flux was originally with Flux, you got your gimmick, right? There was the 2 hearts, and you got a little plastic stencil, so you could put the stencil on a regular bicycle card, and with a Sharpie you could spend some time and make a card that you could give away, which I never did. I think I did it a couple of times. I gave it a go, and it was an excellent solution, because believe me, screen printing on these is a long process. You have to strip it back. You have to, so screen printing. So I understand at the time how David went for that as a solution, and it is a good solution. But however, I talked to a lot of people who use Flux, and very, very few of them actually did use the stencil thing. So what we decided to do, and the thing is, I performed it and I just never gave the card away. I would change it, and I would hand it to them, and they would look at it and they would go, "Oh wow, that's amazing." And they would always hand it back to you, and I'd take it, put it back in deck. But now it comes with the 2 gimmicks, so you can be the 9 of hearts and the 2 of hearts, and then there's 40 just regular cards which have the reveal printed on the back of them, so you can give it away. And honestly, because I never gave it, I've been doing it for years and I never ever gave it away. Now I've got a ton of these. When I started doing this, I think we got these probably about 3. How long ago did we get these? 3?
A couple of days before Magic Live.
Yeah. So since Magic
early
Live,
August,
and I've been doing it in my residency every week. And honestly, when you do the change, and then you hand the card to them. And they always go to give you it back. And when you say, oh, no, you can keep that, oh, the delight in people, I honestly didn't expect it. That's the thing that surprised me most about this, is when you let them keep the card, they're always so delighted and people will shake it. And again, it's one of those things where you're giving them the whole story. So they can say to their friends, oh, well, my friend picked the 2 of hearts, and then I picked this card and I made lots of marks on it. And then, you know, they shook it and it turned into that, you know. And we talked about the whole idea because I had a sort of presentation for doing it, having the cards signed and stuff. But at the end of the day, it didn't really make much sense. Are you going out now? That's okay. Sorry, it's just my dog leaving. Can't say hello. Yeah. Home from hospital and then he's leaving. Right,
Dad's a genius.
Yeah, right. So anyway, so yeah, I had this sort of presentation where the card was signed and then they did the marks. But effectively, as far as your spectator and your audience is concerned, this is a signed card because it was the card they picked, it was the wrong card, and then they made the marks, which then changed to the name of the other person's card. So I've heard other people talking about it. Like I say, I do it every week in my residency, and I hear that people talking about it and saying, I made all these marks, and then when I heard a guy last week saying, "Oh, when I shook it, it all just changed." And I was like, "No, you didn't shake it, mate. But fine, if you want to remember it that way."
But that's the great thing with it's the great thing, isn't it? With magic, we've all been the victim of when someone at a gig tells an interpreted story of what happened. You know, I thought of an object, I thought of a bottle, and then the man pushed the bottle through. You know, made the bottle appear, and then he pushed it through the table. Yeah. That didn't happen, but that's so. But the good thing with this is we also win with this because, like Roddy said, their interpretation of those details. Everyone wants to tell the best possible story they can. So when we arm them with 80% of a great story, let them do the other 20%. Let them do it. They'd love to do it.
Oh yeah, magic becomes so much better on the retelling. That's the old story, isn't it? And it's because people don't want to admit to themselves that they were fooled by something, so they eliminate all the other aspects of what could have fooled them by saying, no, I just thought of anything and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's what it comes with now. And also the other thing as well, which we're really
very excited about this bit,
is our patented dead Sharpie system. So before, what you had to do was you'd have to take a Sharpie out, and God, everyone knows this. If you're a magician, you've had to do this. When you take a Sharpie and you try and dry it out, right? So you can take the ink out of it, you take the nib out, you run them under the tap, and all, you leave them sitting out in the sun for a week.
It's like the Terminator. You just cannot, you cannot kill those things, can you?
Yeah, do you know? And that's the weird thing. Unless you like, quite often I buy a box of Sharpies, and like 3 of them are just completely dead right out of the box. Other ones, they just refuse to die. You leave them out in the sun, you put nail varnish on them, and then you still get this little mark coming through. So we thought about this for a while, and we wanted to supply them with the Sharpie, right? But
now, hold on. Are you stop short of actually saying what the gimmick is? I reckon, but it is we just say we're both delighted with it.
So now we don't have to actually ship a Sharpie. You don't get a Sharpie with this, but you get a very clever system that allows you to, within seconds, to create a dead Sharpie that won't damage the gimmick in any way.
Because that was the other part, wasn't it? Is that when you're banging like this on the bottom, you don't want to damage it. So what we've got now with the new system, which is what good magic should be, a simple solution that's the right thing. It's not simple because it's simple because it is the right thing to use for this, and it opens up loads of other things. When you get that, you'll think, oh yeah, sure, I can use that for loads of other tricks. We've all got a trick where you need a dried out Sharpie. This is going to be a perfect solution for that.
Oh, I've had loads of people saying to me that was their favourite part of it. They're like, oh, the thing with the Sharpie is so good. And I'm like, yeah, I think it is pretty good. And it's like, again, that came down to it's almost logistics that made us come to that as well, that we were thinking, right, if we put a Sharpie in, but not only do I need to dry these out, and I'm thinking it was in the summer at the time, I thought, well, I might be able to do it, and I'll toss them all into a bucket of acetone and then dry them out on the washing line, or I'll do something. But then I'm thinking, if I'm having to put a deck and a Sharpie into a box. The box is going to have to be this size. How can I get around that? And now, thankfully, it comes in this size of box. Have you got a box to
Yeah.
have one? See, it all comes in.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great size. That's an amazing size for a box.
Yeah, it's
When
no
you're
one,
having to ship
no one cares
things
about
all
me and
over
Roddy's
the world,
concerns,
man.
but we were delighted with. We have got logistical joy, but for shipping them, but it's a small little thing, but it's a great box. It's got everything you need in there. So you got your gimmicks, you got the refill, you know, the giveaway cards, you've got your all the gimmicks, and as Roddy said, now you have so the original trick, as great as it was, you were just forcing one card. It was always going to be the same card, and that's fine if you were doing Magic once in a while for different groups of people. But pros are probably going to be okay with that, but ideally want it to be another option. But amateurs, who are 98% of the market, don't want people telling the story that I chose this card. Oh yeah, I chose that card too. If it's a Christmas party and you don't do the same trick again. But if it's within the same friend circle, you want some difference. So now you've got a second card that it can be. So it's the 9 hearts and the 2 hearts, or the 2 cards. Not a massive reveal to think that it's cards being forced, but
and the other thing as well, and this is a kind of minor point, but was a big deal for me, was with the original Flux, sometimes you would get one that would be the 2 of diamonds or the 2 of spades that had that was your reveal card that you gave away after making the change, or sometimes it would be just another heart, like a 4, 5, 6, 7 of hearts or whatever. And I remember particularly using one, because I had quite a few of them, obviously. I remember using one at a gig, just taking one out. I thought, I'll use this card Flux here. And I think it might have been a 4 of hearts or something like that. Or maybe a 2 of diamonds. So you get to the bit where you go, was this your card? And they go, oh no, it was the 2 of hearts. And then you can't do the rest of the track then, right? You can't go, oh, well, let's make some.
I'll pretend to struggle for a bit, yeah.
I'll pretend to hear you saying that, right? So again, if it's a heart, and then you say to someone, was it this one? They go, no, it was the 2 of hearts, or no, it was the 9 of hearts. So what we made sure we did when we were making up the cards to print on was that we eliminated all the hearts and all the 2s and all the 9s, so that you're never going to have that problem. And that was such a minor little thing, but it was a thing that I came across personally. And I thought, right, I need to remember that for in the future when we put this out again. If we ever put this out again, we need to get rid of all those cards. So what will be happening in the future is there'll be a trick that we're going to bring out that will just have 9s and hearts and 2s in it. Yeah, I'm thinking, because they've got to get used.
That's amazing.
No, that's the thing. Is the most important thing is all those lessons over 10 years of Roddy doing the trick and going, oh, you know what? I've noticed this. We made a great big list, and we went through, and some of them, like the dried out Sharpie aspect, that was a fairly big challenge. Some of them were easier challenges and just sort of choices we had to make. But that's the great thing, is sometimes you'll see a trick that comes out and there's version 2 18 months later, or even a year later, and you think, why did they get it right the first time? Well, Roddy could legitimately say, this was a banger that everyone loved, that black ball. I remember walking past Roddy doing it, and you're just like cartoon mode, rubbing your eyes. It's crazy, that moment. Yeah. And everyone queuing up to see it, and Andy Nyman and Dynamo and all these big names coming to see this moment. And it's one of those things, when you watch it, you think there must be some, there's Michael Chatelain sort of clever, flappy, twisty, stuff like that. No, it is the actual color change, or the animation change, you'll be able to do 2 minutes after opening the box. Mm-hmm. Handling is going to take a little bit longer than that, but you'll be able to have the same amount of joy as Roddy has in his face, or me, when you do the change, and you're smiling and laughing within seconds.
I mean, that's the thing. A thing that really struck me at that Blackpool first time round was, you see there's a couple of pictures that are things that were on the video. One of them was like Andy Nyman doing like this, and Cyril kind of laughing and stuff. And that's when I showed them the method. And magicians love when you say, well, here's the method. it's this.
Mhm.
And they just go, oh, got it. It's like one of those moments, you know, like you get sometimes with certain tricks. I remember like with John Morton's Baby Book. I remember him showing me that, film it, and then saying, and this is how it's done, blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, God, you know, just if you can explain it in a sentence or just by going, here it is, that's the method. That's the thing that people love about it. The method is very simple. The gimmick is very simple. And, well, I don't want to underplay it by saying it's very simple, but it is. It's a very simple gimmick. There's no threads, no magnets, which is weird for me. I've tried to find some way of sneaking a magnet in there, but no threads, no magnets, no flaps, none of that business. But yeah.
I love that you're just trying to put a magnet in there just for the sake of it. That's
a
great.
magnet or some dry wipe, because you know what I mean. I've got my special signatures that I like to put on things.
And obviously, once people have gone through the cards, we'll have refill decks. I don't think I've got one to hand, but we've got some sexy packaging and refill decks, which will not be expensive, because I think we've learned something from Minibook, and hopefully we've educated the Magic world, certainly the Magic producing world, is that the refills. No one wants to buy refills. I get it, right? And the truth is, you could just do ambitious card for the rest of your life, and you're all giving away is, that's fine. You know, you could do ambitious card or something like that for the rest of your life, and do a signed card trick, and maybe just giving away a playing card. That's fine. But you know what? If you're a pro or if you're an amateur, it's the same thing. You want that. You want your Magic to have real impact and to be different. And if you're a pro, being different is the most important thing. You want those moments you can think, that's right. Those moments where, again, like we were talking about earlier about the story, in the retelling, they can conjure that, you know, that imagination of what happened. Like, oh my God, this happened. And that's what's so different about this is, so we want to be able to do the refills. So the refills won't be expensive. And I'll get them on the website this week, so people can pick those up as well.
And that's why this is so commercial. It's over very, very quickly. It's one like visual moment of magic. It looks incredible. It's examinable. You're using a regular deck that you can put something into and then take it away afterwards. Mm-hmm. And refills, you've got two revelations. Like, this is in many ways the perfect trick. Yeah.
I think so. I mean, it's you've got.
Oh, thank you.
Nice. Yeah, it is. You've got these. There's that visual moment. There's the handling, and on the instructions, like Roddy said, we talk about two different handlings. One is primarily done for two people, and which is sort of the default handling. That's what you're going to see on the trailer. But there's also a one-person one that's super easy. Neither of them are hard. There's some sleight of hand in the first in the feature routine, but in the other routine that's for one person, it's stripped back. There's a little bit of work to do, but I reckon a couple of hours. I mean, you know, a couple of hours of going through it, watching the telly one night, you'd be absolutely fine.
Yeah. Like you say, the one person handling we just cut out. Like, there's one move that I use a lot, right? And there's a card move that I thought that I had invented, but then Daniel Garcia thought he'd invented it, and then Chris Kenner thought he'd invented it, but it was probably Jay Sankey. But anyway, so there's that move that I teach in it, and I use it in a lot of my tricks that I put out. But you don't have to do that. The single person handling, it's super easy. There's like a double lift or a triple lift that you have to do that's really easy to do and very motivated. And the thing that I really like about this particularly, like obviously I like the visual and stuff like that, but I like the fact that I can involve two people with it. So I work a residency every week, as I've mentioned, and that's just a great thing to do at the table. It's great to get people involved, because you know what it's like when you're having to draw people in at a table, particularly if, you know, you've got a bit of distance and you want to draw people in and you want to show them something visual as well, and then it ticks the boxes for that. Because I always start off by saying, who would be good at reading each other? Would you be good at reading each other? And you know, you get a bit of kind of banter going there and a bit of interaction, but it draws people in and they're both involved. One's choosing a card, one's finding a card to do all this business, you know?
Yeah, it's great.
Such a great line saying who's good at reading each other, because anytime you ask questions, I do John Allen's destination box all the time, and I still start with, who can I trust the most, which is sort of John's line, who's the most honest out of you guys here. If you feed questions to your audience, they don't have to be funny. If you ask people who's good at reading each other here, you might get the minimum you'll get is a straight answer. But you know what? You might get more than that. You might get, oh, he's, some a woman saying, oh, it's my husband. He's not very good at reading me. He never knows what's in my head, or like just banter, like whatever those gags are. If you tee them up, so just Roddy saying quite flatly who'd be good at reading each other. Let them do the jokes. They'd love to. So if you have even if it's just for 2 people, it'll be fine. But if it's for 6, 8, 10 people, they will love to fire gags. And all you have to do is smile, because everyone else is howling with laughter because they've done all the work.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's nice to see a production company that release a trick and they think about it from a pro's point of view, but they also think about it from a social performance point of view, which I can see that you've done with this. And that's great, because sometimes people will bring out tricks and it's great for pros, but it's not really. But this works great for both of them. And I think you probably put a lot of thought into that, and it ticks all the boxes. It really does.
No, thank you. I think it's important to us. We do, we talk all the time. When Roddy gets a break from making the gimmicks. Obviously, he has to still make the gimmicks when we're talking, but his hands.
I'm a good multitasker.
It's good. But then, we talk about all those things because, coming as, both of us as pros and gigging magicians, but we also understand you'd be daft if you built a trick just for pros, because the big thing that's, I don't know how often it's said, but, pros don't buy tricks. They do, but they don't buy them a lot, and they tend to do their act. And there's John Lenihan, who's a great US magician who lives in London, not long ago, probably a couple of months ago, said to me, apparently you've got this new trick with a laptop. I'd love to see that. And he had a mini book had completely passed him by. And I thought everyone in the world had seen it. But of course, these people, if you've got, you've got your act, why would you go and have a look at the Alakazam hot list? As great as it is.
It's tough. I struggle to, for years and years and years, I would struggle to add things into my sets, because it's a comfort blanket. You know what you're doing. You can do them in your sleep. You don't, if you get that whole thing when you first start out and you've got that. I see this a lot with new magicians where you've got the script and you go blah 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 blah, and then someone in your audience says something that throws you off, and you go, anyway, back onto the script. You need to carry on with it. You can't respond. You can't be organic with it and kind of stuff, because you're just new to it. But so once you've got that down, and it's hard to add new things. It really is. But thankfully, when it came to when I started working for Penguin particularly, and I was creating tricks and stuff, then that was essential, that I would add new things. If I had an idea, it would be added into the set, and it'd be work it through until I worked out all the little kinks, and then we would go ahead and try and produce it or whatever.
Yeah.
But can't remember what the question was. Was there a question there? I just jumped. I get distracted by.
My favourite bit, before we wrap this up, my favourite thing in the trailer was watching you at the beginning of the demo in a mad scientist's lab. Playing with ink that's come to life, because I actually imagine that's what it's like in that shed over there. I imagine what we saw in that trailer. I genuinely think that's what happens.
It's always. I'm glad you enjoyed it, because that was. Was that the night after the London Magic Convention?
It was the night. Yeah, it was. We went home and did it that night. You were absolutely.
This is like behind the actor's studio, but I got right hacked off. Not Roddy's fault, but Craig will know. It's proper hard shift, flogging tricks all day, isn't it? There is few things in life. I've never dug a hole in the ground. I've not worked for the council. I don't really know what hard work is, but magic stemming is brutal.
It is, and I have dug holes.
So you've done loads of
proper hard.
I don't know how you guys do it, because I go to the Blackpool Magic Convention, and on day 3, you're both there going, "Yeah, come on over to the stand." I'm like flopped in a chair, completely and totally fucked.
Don't give us
if anybody even looks at me the wrong way, I'll headbutt them off the balcony. just and woe betide the guy that comes over to me and asks to see the same bloody trick for the 10th time, because he will have it shoved up his arse. Like, and I am just so tired and fed up at that point. And you guys are still going, hey, I'm Roddy, I'm Noel. Hey, look at this. What can we perform Little Holes for the 5 millionth time and make it sound as exciting as it was the first time I performed it? Day one of the
Well, see, the difference is like with us, every penny's a prisoner, you know, and it's like, but your luxury lifestyle, you're like, yeah, whatever. you don't need hustle. But no, I'm telling you, man, I've like I said, I've done tough jobs, man. I've worked in normal jobs and very stressful physical jobs over the year. But working on the stand selling magic tricks is up there, which sounds ridiculous. If I said that to myself 20 years ago, I would have been, yeah, I'll do that all day. But man alive, that working on the stand, it destroys you. But so then we came home from that, and we were like, I was quite keen. I was like, let's set up the green screen, let's do this, let's do that. And we did everything wrong that we could possibly do. Thankfully,
we spoke to Jack in advance, Jack Rhodes, who's our green screen consultant, and Jack told us everything. And then I thought, I'd done, advising on telly stuff, and I thought, I've got this. Bit of Jack, bit of me, it'll be fine. But I was shattered, and we made some terrible, terrible, terrible choices for trying to output the thing great. And I spoke once we'd filmed it, and we filmed it till 1 o'clock in the morning. And bear in mind, we had a 7 a.m. start with the loading and lumping all the stuff and demming all day. I think at dinner that was sort of the nice bit, and other than that, it was graph. So we were filming the green screen thing, and I remember speaking to Jack the next day, and he was like, "Oh God, what have you done? You've made a rod for your own back." And it was thankfully, with a masterful edit from our friend Abra, who's done a brilliant job. But
he's the man.
We were saved by it. But yeah, bloody hell, when Jack's seen the state of the what we'd filmed, so, yeah, you can't have we had multiple shots from different angles, and obviously a green screen is a 2D flat thing. So if you start having movement, the illusion will disappear straight away, which is what we originally had. Movement with the camera moving and different shots, but you can't anyway. Teleman.
I was being all Spielberg. I was like, right, so we'll have a look at dolly shot here, and we'll do a tracking. We'll get a shot on you, so we couldn't use any of that. All Noel was cut out of it completely because we can't use any of that now. We totally messed up.
I was fine. I was happy.
But hey ho, it was a cool little thing to do. It was good fun.
Well, I loved it. I appreciated it.
Thank you.
No, thank you. It was good. I think it looks great. And only me and Roddy know about the tears and the misery of doing it. So,
well, obviously, the only place that people currently can get Flux 2 is from the Trick Trick Boom website.
Yeah.
Right. And even if that changes in the future and that decision hasn't been made, it's more than likely that their Trick Trick Boom website is the only place to get refill packs as well.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So if people want it, now you guys ship worldwide. All over the world. So if you're in America or anywhere else,
we've got units in the US as well. So if you're in the US, they will go hopefully same day for America. The rest of the world we ship from the Zoom studio, aka back bedroom here, where all the stock is. So yeah, no, it'll. We've got units here, and they can go straight away. And also, like the refill decks will be on the website very shortly.
That's amazing. And one last question, because I know you guys have got to go. Are we going to see a fourth release before Blackpool, or will the next release come just after Blackpool, or at some point next year?
I think so. We were talking the other day. I think I would be 80% optimistic that we can have a January release.
Yeah, that's what I'm aiming for.
That's
I think
great.
we were talking about the other day. I think one more push might mean Roddy's making gimmicks on Christmas Day while he's cooking the turkey, but rubber cement in his hands and rubber cement in the turkey by accident.
The thing is, I know you're not joking. I know it is.
We've got one of our Blackpool from Blackpool last year tricks. We're going to try and get that out. So we're super excited about that. So one more push, and normally we were sort of talking about the other day, saying, is January the death month for magic tricks because people are excited about Blackpool? And like Roddy said, people, there's plenty of people who don't go to Blackpool, plenty of people who who just want magic. And you know what? Good magic is timeless. It doesn't matter when it comes out. So I think we're aiming for January, but don't hold us to it. But 80%.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we're sort of leaning into our, hopefully, fingers crossed, Blackpool releases at the moment. Time is ticking, so we're desperately hoping that we can have a couple of new things at Blackpool. But we'll do whatever we can to make sure that happens. And if that means that a January release has to go, then that's it. That has to happen. So we'll see.
Yeah, we've got exciting plans for Blackpool. That's what they are at the moment. Plans, which is pieces of paper with doodles on. But if we can pull that off, that'll be pretty immense. And so excited about those things. So definitely, if you are Blackpool bound, come and find us. As we've got all the old gold, which I say it's old. Me and Roddy have been looking at the Blackpool 2024 tricks for the last year. But we know a shed load of people who came up to us at London Magic Convention and Magic Live and everywhere else they've seen us socially. They've missed it. They passed it by. Blackpool is a massive, cavernous place full of hundreds of dealers. And even if you stop, when people came to us at Magic Live, they said, I've got a mini book. What else? Have you got a new trick? And then when we said, not just that, we've got 5 new tricks, their brains, if you don't ask that question, we might have just shown you one trick, and then you go, "Oh yeah, I've seen the new trick to mini book." Okay, we've currently got there's mini book and refills in the leather wallet. 5 tricks additionally to that, and we're hoping for Blackpool for 2 or 3 absolute bangers. If we can pull it off.
Well, I know you can. I know you will. I know you guys are amazing. I'm a huge fan of Trick Boom. I really am. I think you guys are amazing. I hope one day we can work together. I love you guys.
Thanks,
everything that you bring out is awesome. I'm a huge supporter, huge fan. And I think what you're doing is great for the Magic community because you are just bringing out banger after banger after banger. And yeah, it's great. It's killer. It's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I'm going to take this back into the studio and give it a full review. And spoiler, it's going to be a good one. Of course it is. Yeah, guys, if you're watching this, you can get all of this stuff from Trick Boom. Go and follow them on socials. Go and check out their website and get on their mailing list as well. And keep watching Magic TV because I'm sure the next time Noel and Roddy come up with something that the entire world needs to know about, I'll let you know about it here as well. But guys, I know you're busy. It's Christmas. You got gigs to do. You got gimmicks to build. Thank you so much for coming and chatting. I'll see you guys soon, all right?
See you later.
Bye.
Now, I have to tell you, after watching that interview, I am friends with Roddy McGhie and Noel Qualter. I think they're both brilliant. It's important you know that. I also want you to know that they sent me this. I did not buy this. They sent it me. However, I'm going to be impartial. I'm going to be unbiased. And if it's not very good, I will tell them it's not very good. And I'll tell you it's not very good. Unfortunately, I can't. Spoiler, it's great. But I am being unbiased when I say it's great. Now, what is Flux 2? Well, Flux 2, as you heard, if you watch the whole interview, is basically a revelation of a playing card. It's a way of having somebody pick a card and then you reveal it in a really interesting way. You reveal it by the ink magically changing on the back of a card into the card that the spectator thought of. Now, I'm going to show you a performance of this. I sat down with Thea. She'd never seen Flux 1 or Flux 2. And I showed her Flux 2. So let's have a look at this performance. And you can see how badly her mind was blown. And then, after that, we'll bring this back into the studio and I'll give you the full review. You've seen me do a lot of card tricks.
Yeah, I can't even count them anymore.
This is a good one. So you know what a deck of cards looks like, right, Thea?
Yeah.
This is a deck of playing cards. 52 cards.
Yeah.
52 possibilities. Now, it starts with you picking a card, all right? So I'm going to go through the deck like this. As I do, just say stop anytime you want to.
Stop.
You sure?
Yeah.
You sure you want that one?
Yeah.
Have a look at the card. Do not show me. I don't want to see it. But show the camera. You done that?
Okay.
You got it?
Yep.
You got the card? Good. And you can put it back in the pack any way you want. Right there.
Ooh.
And I know you know that I do sneaky stuff with the pack of cards. I want you to see nothing sneaky there. Is that fair?
I can tell you there's nothing there.
Nothing sneaky. That is fair, right?
Yeah,
So, I'm not going to find your card, Thea. You are. You get 2 chances to find your card. You get 3 chances to find your card. And only 3 chances. Okay? If you find your card, forevermore, the entire internet will say, oh my God, Thea is the most amazing magician ever. She wipes the floor when it comes to magic compared to her brother. Like, she's so much better than her dad. She's the best magician of all time. So, but you've got to find it. If you don't find it on the 3rd attempt, it means you suck. And next time you go to the Blackpool Magic Convention, everyone will go, boo, Thea, she can't find a card. If you find it, they're all going to be high-fiving you and go, go, Thea. Oh, my God, how did you do that card? So, like, there's a lot riding on this, mate. All right, okay. So, number 1, first chance. We'll just make it easy. Just touch a card.
That one.
That one right there. That one there, yeah?
No, I said this one.
This one there?
This, yeah.
That one there. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Do you want to change your mind?
I'm fine.
You're happy with that one?
Yeah.
Was your card the 7 of spades?
No.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear me. Well, that's one of your chances gone. Don't worry, we've got 2 more chances. I tell you what we'll do. Can you take this pen for me?
Yeah.
And what I want you to do is take the lid off. Put the lid on the other end. Don't get ink on your fingers, obviously. And what I want you to do, there you go, like that. There you go. And what I want you to do, let me show you. You're not going to write with it, but you're going to hold it like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold it like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take your 7. I'm going to hold it this way. And you're going to bodge. And you're going to make lots of marks on the card.
Yeah.
And we're going to do it for 5 seconds. We want sort of ink going everywhere. Okay, so go. 1, all over. 2, 3, 4, 5. Great, put the lid on the pen. The reason I got you to do that is because there's a thing where sometimes people, if they're thinking of something, they can subconsciously, like, make a mark. And it'll, like, be the thing they're thinking of. So I'm hoping, you were just, like, making marks at random, but I'm hoping that that will show us... I was hoping it would show us exactly what it is your card is, but to be honest, that doesn't mean anything to me. Does it mean anything to you? Right, does that mean anything to you? That doesn't mean anything. I tell you what, look, the other thing that we can do is use magic. I'm going to hold this and shake it. I want you to snap your fingers. Can you snap your fingers?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I live right now.
That's fine. Right, Rye, watch this. Thea, snap those fingers. Rye, watch this. Thea, watch all of those marks that you made. Go on, snap.
I'll give it a shake as well.
Yeah. Here we go. Watch. Watch. Thea, look. It turned into 9 of hearts. That's what it's turned into. The 9 of hearts. Was that your card, Thea?
Yes.
Was your card the 9 of hearts? All of those marks, you magic them together into 9 of hearts. Dude, you're the greatest magician of all time. Everyone's going to love you. You're going to walk through Blackpool and people are going to go, oh my God, this Thea Petty, the greatest magician of all time. You get to keep this, and every time you look at it, you can remember how you were absolutely, definitely the greatest magician of all time. There you go, that's for you. So that was Thea having her mind blown by Roddy McGhie's creation, Flux 2. So what is it? Well, basically, you just saw what it was. It's the revelation of a card on the back of another card. Now, what you get when you buy Flux 2 is you get a tutorial and you get a deck of cards. Now, most of the cards are refills. Because the whole idea is this is designed to be given out. And as you heard in the interview, if you watch the interview, you get 2 different reveals. The original Flux came with 1, you get 2 different reveals, which is great if you're a working pro, and therefore you get 2 gimmicks as well, because you need a different gimmick for each revelation. So you get the 2 reveals, you get the 2 gimmicks. You need 2 gimmicks to make up one. There's 2 cards that you need. 3 cards. Right, okay, so this start again. There's 3 cards. In terms of setting up the deck, you need a regular deck and you need 3 cards. I tell you this because I don't want you to think it's an extensive setup in the deck. It's not. You need 3 cards. The reveal card and 2 other cards. Those cards can be added onto the top of the deck anytime you want to. And then once they're added on top of the deck, you're ready to go and perform. But you need 3 cards. At the end of the trick, you're left with the card that you can give out to the spectator. And then you have 2 other cards that you can get rid of by palming them out or stealing them under the card case or pretending you're taking out the jokers, whatever you want to do. But you get rid of the other 2 cards and you're left with the regular deck. So you can start with the regular deck or you can start with the deck set up. You're left with the regular deck of cards as well. In terms of how easy it is, it's fairly easy. The tutorial's not very long. Once you get rid of the live performances and the chat about what it is and what Flux 1 was and all of that, when you get into the meat and bones of the tutorial, it's probably only about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And half of that is Roddy teaching a force that he uses to perform Flux 2, which is a great force. It's not the force I used in my performance. I used a Garriolet touch force, which, if you've ever seen the Magic Button Project, is the force that's on the Magic Button Project. That's the force I used when I did the performance, but, you know, Roddy's going to teach you a really great force as well. And he spends 10 minutes talking to you about how to make a pen that doesn't write. And you get a certain something in the packaging that allows you to make a pen that doesn't write. And I thought I would do the whole thing and I would see how easy it is for that to happen. And honestly, it's a ridiculously clever method. I followed Roddy's advice and within 5 minutes, I'd made myself, from a brand new Sharpie, a Sharpie that didn't write. It's genius. Guys, if you're watching this, Noel, Roddy, you are geniuses. It's not as good as the trick. I know you said in the interview the method for creating the fake Sharpie was as good as the trick. It's not as good as the trick because the trick is bloody amazing. However, it's still one of the cleverest solutions that I've seen to creating a no-write Sharpie, and something that you really could have sold as a separate product if you wanted to. In terms of the effect, it's very, very simple. It's a couple of forces and the actual thing. You know, I've reviewed tricks like this before where X's jump around on a card and stuff, and it's always really angly and looks crap. This doesn't. This looks great because it's not a flap. It's not a traditional way of doing this. It's a very low-tech method that works perfectly. You just show that you've got all of this ink all over the card. Boom, it forms into the name of the card and you hand that card out. It's great. And then when you get rid of those 2 cards that are left on top of the deck, you're left with a regular deck to use into whatever it is that you want to use into. This is great. It's easy to do. And it's commercial. I think that's the most important thing. It's commercial. In essence, what we have here is a revelation of a selected playing card. But what's interesting about it is how the card is revealed. The card is revealed in a very, very unique way. I was speaking to somebody the other day and I was talking about Flux and they were saying, well, couldn't you just achieve the same thing with a twirl change? And in a way, I guess you could if you thought about it and handled it in a particular way. I guess maybe you could, but I don't think it's as visual as this. This, you can see that you're not switching that card. You can see that that ink on that card is just changing. And immediately you give it out. This is really solid. I love this. I think this is going to be a little bit like Minibook Pro, which is why I'm glad that they've gone down the refills route, because honestly, I wouldn't want to be making gimmicks up over and over again. I just wouldn't bother doing that. But the fact that I've got a deck of refills, I will do this till the cows come home, and I know that it's going to get a great reaction, which is why I'm going to give this 100%. I think this is amazing. I think this, just like everything that Trick Trick Boom bring out, it's awesome. They've made a rod for their own back, because sooner or later they're going to screw up and bring something pants out. But I know their release schedule at the moment, I don't see that happening. Roddy and Noel really are a match made in heaven, and this is no surprise that it's an incredible routine that whether you're a social performer or you're a professional performer, it's going to take pride of place in your set. And the fact that you've managed to do this with a regular deck and just a couple of cards that are thrown in, absolutely awesome. 100% from me. Trick Trick Boom, you guys are great. So that's another review show in the back. Guys, do me a favor, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now, you want to see more videos like this, you know what you got to do. Just like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Now, I'm going to be back again very, very soon with another video. But in the meantime, don't forget that you can get hold of me and by going to the Netrix. That's thenetrix.com. It's my online streaming platform for magicians. I'll see you again. Thanks for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.